The 2024 season is officially over. The Dodgers are World Series champions. And of course, I do predictions every single year before the season starts on my channel, where I go through every division, every team, tell you where I think they're going to finish, awards, World Series champions. You guys know the drill. I normally pick the Mets to win the World Series every year. So today we're going back to my predictions from the start of the 2024 season, and we're going to live react to where I put some teams. And I know some of these are going to be really bad. I'm terrible at this prediction thing. I think there's no way around it. But you guys keep watching, so I'm going to keep doing them, and I'm going to keep having fun. All right, let's put in these headphones and let's get to watching my 2024 MLB World Series predictions. Also, gotta say, a little too close on the zoom in there to start. We gotta chill out. I gotta say, this year, even though everyone's picking the Dodgers, this feels like one of the hardest seasons that I've actually had to predict in a while, because there's a lot of uncertainty outside of like two teams. I said it. Everybody's picking the Dodgers. I did not pick the Dodgers. Would have been the right pick. Dodgers were the best team. This was very obvious, and yet I picked against them because that's what I do over here on this channel. So without further ado, let's get it started this time in the National League, going with the NL East. And coming in 5th place in the National League. Okay, NL East, I'm going to say 5th place. I went Miami Marlins. I don't think I went with the Nationals because I was like, the Marlins stink. This team shouldn't be there. So 5th place, I'm going Marlins. East, I've got the Miami Marlins.
Beautiful.
I know I've been coming off a bit as a Marlins hater this offseason, but I really think this team is not very good. Losing Sandy Alcantara, I was right. There's just no way that this team can perform like they did last year. I was right. Luzardo is right on the borderline of either becoming one of the best pitchers in baseball or completely falling off again. Yuri Perez is going to be on an innings limit. He's absolutely disgusting. There's no doubt about it. The rest of that rotation has major question marks, and this lineup, let's be honest, is not very good. Like, we're relying on Tim Anderson to do some significant damage this year. There's no way Luis Ariz hits 340 again. I was right. Luis Ariz did not hit 340 again. They also traded him, so that was a huge reason why they weren't good too. I feel like I'm spitting right now on the Marlins, and I was pretty accurate that they were going to be terrible. Not that that's a bold claim, but there were a lot of people who saw they made the playoffs the year prior and were like, this Marlins team's not that bad. No, they stunk. They were terrible. 4th place in the Nationals, right? I'm going with the Washington Nationals. Makes sense. Now, that was easy. I'm a little bit higher on the Nationals than most. I think that there is a decent little core building down in Washington that could make playing them a little bit tougher to win this year. CJ Abrams is fantastic. Okay, we don't need to bring up CJ Abrams' gambling issues. We don't need to talk about being at the casino until 8 o'clock in the morning, but he does some things where he's a good player. I'm glad I mean, it's not impressive to say CJ Abrams is going to be a good baseball player, but I like to see that at least 5th and 4th place I got right in the division. For 3rd place, I'm pretty sure I went with the New York Mets. I was not actually that high on them going into this season. In the National League East, we're going with the Philadelphia Phillies. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God. I wish I could. We're going with the New York Mets. Oh my God. I faked myself out. How did I just fall for my own bit? I forgot I did that. Ooh, I am such a little jerk. As much as a biased Homer Mets fan as I am, I can't even muster up the courage to put them anywhere higher than 3rd right now in this division. While the offense, I still think is pretty good. I was right. Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso. They did finish in 3rd. Is a stud, and you're expecting bounce back years from guys like Jeff McNeil and Starling Marte. The pitching is what really scares me, and especially on the starting pitching side when Jose Quintana is going into the season as our opening day starter. There's uncertainty about Kodai Senga's injury right now, and we're relying on getting big innings out of Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, Adrian Hauser, Tyler McGill. I don't think this team's going to be bad. I think they can win 82, 83 games. But right now, they're not as strong as the teams that we've seen in the past, and I just can't put them ahead of the other two teams in this division. I feel like I was pretty accurate and pretty calm and unbiased, considering I am the most biased Mets fan on YouTube, as they say. That was a pretty normal expectation year for me for the Mets. They completely outperformed it, though, so I am so happy. So happy I'm wrong. Maybe I'll pick the Mets to finish 3rd every year. 2nd place, I'm hoping I went with the Braves, but I feel like I might have gone Phillies. Let's see. For 2nd place, you heard me just mention them. That's going to be Philadelphia Phillies. I really went with the Phillies, just are not better than the Braves, who of course are going to come in 1st place. They're still a really good team, but I'm surprised. There obviously are question marks with this team as well. I know defensively they got better, but defensively still they're not one of the better teams in the league. Kyle Schwarber moving to DH will definitely help because they now get to use Johan Rojas and Brandon Marsh in the outfield. But I can't imagine those guys are going to have as good of seasons as they did last year. I expect Bryson Stott to take a step back. I was right about Bryson Stott. Completely mediocre. Harper, Realmuto, Turner, Schwarber, those guys are legit. Castellanos, I'm not sure on yet. And Wheeler, Nola, Ranger Suarez is a really good 1-2-3. Okay. Similarly, that bullpen I still think has question marks. I think the back end of that rotation has some question marks. They're still very good though. And then of course in 1st place, it's going to be the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, the Braves are just the best team in baseball. So listen, I did pretty well. I mean, I missed the Phillies in 1st place. I should have been more hip to the fact that they are just better. And also the Braves had a ton of injuries. I still think the Braves were probably the better team when healthy on paper.
paper than the Phillies, but National League East not looking that bad. And there's no really reason to hear what I have to say about the Braves because injuries was really the whole reson they weren't in first.
Moving on now to the National League
Central. Here we go. Who do we got? Fifth place?
Got the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot. Brewers fans were giving me a lot of crap because, of course, the Brewers did not finish in 5th place. They finished in 1st place. This was definitely one of my worst predictions of the entire season. Now, I'll stand by it. I really believe that. I thought they were going to be bad, and I thought they were going to sell a lot more. It just felt like this was maybe the start of the rebuild possibly coming for the Brewers. It was not. They were the best team in the NL Central. It wasn't even close. Shout out to the Mets for knocking them out of the playoffs, though. Won't forget that. And for all the Brewers fans who were wondering why I hated you so much in the playoffs, it was because I was getting so much crap for putting you in 5th place. I was just happy to get you out of there, and I didn't have to hear about it anymore.
I don't really like this pick, but it's just a gut feeling that I've had, especially because I think they're going to start to move more and more pieces as the season goes on.
I was right. It's like I know what I'm saying.
And shout out Jackson Chourio. I think he's going to have a great year, though.
Oh, bang. Nailed it with Jackson Chourio. He did have a great year. All right, 4th place, I think I went with the Cardinals.
4th place, moving up a little bit, I've got the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Ooh, that's right. I forgot the Pirates are in the NL Central.
They're going to be very competitive this season. Paul Skeens is going to get called up, and Paul Skeens looks disgusting.
There it is. There it is.
He's been great.
Paul Skeens is disgusting.
3rd place,
Okay, 3rd place. Knowing who's left, this is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. I think it's going to be the Cardinals.
Going with the St. Louis Cardinals.
That makes sense. They finished in 2nd. So wrong everywhere so far.
Last year. Like, even if they're 10 games better than they were last year, which I don't necessarily know if they are, that's 81-81 on the season.
And I'm going to say, my reasoning was pretty smart. They won 83 games this year, so they were 12 games better than they were the prior year, and that still put them 10 games back in the division, I think like 5 or 6 games back in the wild card. I kind of was right about the Cardinals, just got the placing wrong. I'm going to take that as a W, even though I technically was wrong.
In 2nd place,
this is going to be the Reds.
Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
I really like this Reds team. I love Ellie De La Cruz. I think he's destined for a breakout season. We saw him kind of slow down a little bit last year. He's going to bounce back. Frankie Montas, I think.
Frankie Montas was bad. Frankie Montas was really bad. But I kind of like what I was saying about the Reds here, though. Problem is, it seems like they have a lot of players kind of in that middle of like 10% better, 10% worse than league average, and they just got the worst version of them, which is why they struggled this year and finished in 4th place. They just didn't get the positive outcomes that they needed. But this is a team that is going to be good in the future for sure.
Which means coming in 1st place, I have the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs, man. I was drinking the Cubs Kool-Aid in the offseason. I really thought they made some strides forward. I love the moves that they made. Let's see exactly why I thought they were going to be 1st place, though.
And while you could say this offseason was a little bit disappointing considering they spent all this money on a manager and then really brought back Cody Bellinger and Shota Imanaga, I think this is a pretty solid team. Nico Horner, Seiya Suzuki, Ian Happ.
I mean,
Cody
they are.
Bellinger,
They're a
Swanson,
solid
Morel,
team.
Yan Gomes, Michael Busch. Probably going to get Pete Crow Armstrong back at the majors at some point. Maybe Alex Canario.
Imagine a world where Shota Imanaga has a sub-3 ERA on the season and the Cubs don't win the division. Like, how is that even possible? Seiya Suzuki was fantastic at the plate. How did this team not do better?
I think the Cubs are the best team in this division, and I don't necessarily think it's even close.
Oh, why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? It was close. They weren't. NL Central. Bad. That was bad. It's pretty spot on I was with the NL East. The NL Central, I don't think I got a single team right.
Now moving on to the National League West, and clearly easiest pick is going to be the Rockies in 5th place.
We know the Rockies stink.
This is just like...
We know they're bad. We know the Rockies are awful. We can probably just move on to the next team.
Because coming in 4th place, and I don't feel good about it.
4th place.
San Francisco Giants. Simply because...
Accurate. I was right. I think I got the National League West perfect, which I don't think was necessarily that hard. Oh, did I put the Padres 2nd? Oh, did I put the Padres 2nd? I don't think I did. Nope, I didn't get it right. Dang it.
Because their starting pitching to me does not feel good enough right now. If 3rd place in the
National
Padres, League, I'm going with the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
Actually, the Padres are a pretty good team this year. Better than we might expect. I wish they didn't trade Juan Soto, because if they didn't, I think this is a team that could be a World Series contender. Especially with the Dylan Cease trade that they just made, because the starting rotation, it's okay. It's a lot better than I think we think it is. 2nd place in the AL West, just missing on the top spot. I got to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks, of course. This one, I mean, Mets made the playoffs because they didn't do it, but this one hurt me because I really thought the Diamondbacks were going to take a big step forward this year, and they just kind of were flat. They just didn't have it. They weren't good enough. They're just simply not the Dodgers, but I think this team is really good. Made it to the World Series last year, and they got better this offseason. I really thought they did. Jock Peterson for a power left. Jock was great. On the pitching side, bringing in Eduardo Rodriguez, I think is going to be huge for this rotation. This was the difference. Consistently good starter. I love what the Diamondbacks are cooking in Arizona. This team is a 2nd place team, and you will see them in the playoffs again. Wow, I was aggressive in saying you will see them in the playoffs again. Oh, man. Oh, that's frustrating. That's frustrating. The pitching just really let them down. Of course, coming in 1st place is going to be the Dodgers. Yeah. Them? They're an all-star team. Here we go. They're disgusting. I mean, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith,
I think we know the gist. That we don't have to hear me talk about how great the World Series champions are.
So before I announce who's going to make the playoffs and whatnot, I do want to announce the award.
Ooh,
winners.
okay, awards. Onto awards.
Jackson Merrill. You heard me mention him.
Okay, wait, listen. That is a pretty awesome preseason pick. Jackson Merrill and Paul Skeens. That's who it's down to. I think it's going to end up being Paul Skeens. But Jackson Merrill, Rookie of the Year, if you listened to me, you probably would have won some money if you were making some bets. I feel pretty good about Jackson Merrill. It's probably one of the more favorite picks, but Rookie of the Year is kind of a toss-up, and picking Jackson Merrill, he's going to be 1 or 2. Not bad, me.
I think he's going to break camp with the Padres, start in the outfield, and he's just a really good player. His odds right now to win the Rookie of the Year are out of control high, so if you can get on that action, you should.
What?
But he's a good player. Good bat-to-ball skills.
What were they to start the year? I didn't say it. Oh my God. I didn't even bet it. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb sometimes. I'm an idiot.
Keeping it out west with the Dodgers, and I'm going with Tyler Glasnow.
Okay. Tyler Glasnow got hurt. I mean, that makes sense. I think I'm about to say as long as he stays healthy, which he didn't, Chris Sale's going to be the Cy Young.
As long as he's healthy.
There it is.
If he gives us 160 innings, he wins the National League Cy Young.
He didn't.
And then for the big one, the National League MVP, I'm going to give that one to Bryce Harper in Philly. If you saw what Bryce Harper did in the second half.
Harper, okay. Interesting. I'm honestly kind of surprised I didn't mention Ohtani at all. Maybe I mentioned it a little bit later. How did I go since Ohtani's not pitching? I mean, it took him having an historic year to win as the DH. The DH has never been an MVP like that, but I'm surprised I didn't even mention him. What was I? Am I stupid? Okay, American League. It's American League.
With the American League.
American League East. Let's run it. I'm pretty sure I had the Yankees in 3rd place again. Let's see.
East. And for the AL East, getting us started in 5th place, I got to go with the Boston Red Sox again. Just not a very good team right now. Actually, I think they did make some...
Red Sox, were they actually last, or was it the Rays? Who ended up being last for them? It was the Blue Jays. Oh, yeah, I forgot the Blue Jays were so bad. Wow. Yeah, Red Sox finished in 3rd. They actually had a much more surprising year, Tyler O'Neill being a big reason. Am I going to give him some credit here?
I think they'll probably win like 76, 77 games, but
really close. They won 81. They won 81. That's not too far off.
I think very close to
4th, going to be the Rays, I'm assuming.
The Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah,
again, and
that's
I want to cringe every time I put the Rays lower and lower.
That makes sense.
This
I
feels
actually
like
was
the
right.
first year that made. Yes, you have Yandy. Yes, you have Brandon Lau, Randy Arozarena, Josh Lowe, Paredes. But I got to imagine some of these guys are going to take a little bit of a step back, and I have a weird feeling they're going to trade Randy at the deadline this year.
Oh, damn. March 24th. I got a weird feeling they're going to trade Randy Arozarena at the deadline. Bang! Oh, I wish I could have bet that.
3rd place in the AL East. I'm going to go with the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
This isn't me necessarily being a Yankees hater, but...
No, it is. It's you being a Yankees hater, you dumb idiot. It's you being a Yankees hater. I mean, listen, I actually don't really think the Yankees team was even that good. They won the AL Central, essentially, because that's who they played in the postseason. But they won. They made it to the World Series of the AL champions. Tip your cap. But I think the reasoning was okay. Just should have known that Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, it doesn't matter. You put those two in a lineup together, you're going to win a ton of games. And getting Jazz Chisholm changed this team, too. The pitching was great. They were much better than I thought. Well, clearly they're much better than I ever expected, but I'm probably whatever. I'm a Yankees hater. That's what it is. I'm going to stop trying to make excuses. Let's hear me be stupid.
The fact that if Garrett Cole misses as much time as we think he might, I don't think the Yankees can make the playoffs.
Oh,
if you don't have Garrett Cole. Also, Aaron Judge is already complaining about being beat up in spring training. That's concerning. Maybe taking the massive injury-prone guy and putting him in center field isn't the best idea. If this team is fully healthy, they are probably the best team in the AL East. Maybe the best team in the American League. But
truly healthy. Okay. Hey, wait a second. Redemption, maybe. Yeah, so I'm a Yankees hater. I think we have that confirmed. I literally talked about how they got better, and I put them in 3rd place. That's stupid. Hand up. Dumb idiot.
Second place in the AL East, I'm going to go north of the border. Shout out Jackson, my editor. I'm going with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, sorry, Jackson.
I don't really actually like the Blue Jays team very much. I think this is a weird team. Kevin Gausman's a stud. Barrios,
kind of right.
Good 1 through 4. Still missing a 5-starter. And I don't know how much better they got. Like, is Justin Turner an improvement off of what they had?
No.
They're going to play IKF every day. Like, bring up Elvis Martinez, please. But you do still have Bichette, you still have Vlad Jr., you have George Springer. They have a good core there that makes them good enough to be in this top 2 spot, I think, in the AL East, along with a strong enough bullpen. So for me, I'll put them in 2nd place. And then, of course,
I didn't really give any good reasons as to why they were 2nd place. Like, sometimes I feel like I should record the video without the camera on so I can hear what I'm saying. Because when I hear it out loud, I'm like, hey, dummy, you didn't give any good reasons. I don't like this team. I don't think they're that good. 2nd place. The Yankees, if they're healthy, best team in the American League, 3rd place. I mean, what goes through my mind?
Of course, coming in 1st place, we've got the Baltimore
1st place Orioles. Yeah, that was obvious. And I was wrong. I got one team right on this one, and it was the Tampa Bay Rays. So AL East was a mess. AL Central, I'm going to say I did terribly here too.
This is a division that's a bit of a toss-up for me. But what's not a toss-up is the White Sox coming in
okay.
Yes.
Place.
Yeah, the
White Sox in last.
In 4th place, dropping them down a little bit. I've got the Cleveland
Oh
Guardians.
My God. Dude, 4th place? man, they were the 2 seed. They were the 2 seed in the playoffs. Let's hit play.
This is a team that just doesn't feel ready right now for
yeah,
me to
they
be
were
one of the best teams in this
Yeah,
division.
they were.
Weak division. These teams are all going to be clumped together from 4th to 1st. I think pretty close, like a difference of 7 or 8 games maybe from 1st and 4th place.
That's accurate. That's pretty close-ish.
Andres Jimenez are. I just don't think there's enough on this offensive side for the Guardians to be very good, especially when the pitching. I love Tanner Bybee. I love Gavin Williams. We did get some elbow discomfort out of Gavin Williams recently, so a little concerned. Shane Bieber is concerning. How he's just dropped
missed the
velo
year.
every single year. The bullpen will be.
Dude, imagine Shane Bieber's out for the year and the Guardians win the division. What the hell?
3rd place, aggressive. I wanted to put him in first, but
Royals?
to be honest, that's crazy.
Royals?
I'm going with the Kansas City Royals.
Nice.
Close to
hit that one pretty much out of the park. I think they finished technically in 2nd place, but that was, I feel like, aggressive for the Royals at the time. I think a lot of people had them in 4th place, and I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to be a playoff team. I hope I said I think they can make the playoffs.
1st place, I don't think they're going to get there, but they will be a competitive team this year. MJ Melendez was great in the 2nd half. Bobby Wood Jr., MVP candidate.
Yes.
Vinny Pasquantino's back. Salvador
He was
Perez
okay.
is still a stud. I love him.
Love him.
Prado will be a good DH. Hunter
He won't
Renfroe
be.
is a major leaguer. Mike Garcia, I think, could have a breakout season.
He did not.
And on the pitching side, like, I low-key love what they did with the rotation. Cole
It's
Reagan,
true.
Cy Young candidate. Seth Lugo's great. Michael Walker was good.
Yep.
Brady Singer, push him back in the rotation can be strong. The problem is, if anybody gets hurt, this team is dead.
They
have
didn't.
No minor league depth whatsoever. And the bullpen is a major question mark filled with a bunch of guys you've never heard of. But I don't know. I like to go crazy with this one in the AL Central. Who cares? In 2nd place in the AL Central, I'm going to go with the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
I know it's the trendy
Nice.
pick to
I mean,
pick them to win the division.
nice.
And I'm telling you, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm close. But the difference maker for them, and I can't even understate this, is going to be Javier Baez. Will Javi Baez be a Major League Baseball player?
He was
or
not.
Will he be one of the worst players in the league?
He was one of the worst players in baseball, and they still made the postseason, which is impressive because, again, this Tigers team, like, I think on paper, you look at it, you're like, how did they make the playoffs? But AJ Hinch is a good manager, and they got hot at the right time. Riley Green's really good. They have good players. I just don't think they're a serious contending team this year, but they made the playoffs good year.
And then coming in 1st place in the AL Central, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins.
Woof. I think I got them all wrong here, too, besides the White Sox. Oh, my God. Do I have coast bias? Are you guys right in the comments? Do I not give a shit about the Central? What's crazy is that they kind of just lost. Like, they weren't they don't have bad players. They just lost, and Rocco Baldelli cannot be the manager next year. He can't be. All right, AL West, let's go.
American League West, and getting it started in 5th place is the A's.
It wasn't the A's. It wasn't the A's. It was the freaking Angels because the Angels suck.
What is there to talk about the A's? You know, I'm going to be positive about that. Owner should sell the team, and I won't talk about how terrible they are because we know. Let's highlight some players I like. Love Zach Geloff. Looks great.
Didn't
really
look
fun
that great
player.
this year.
Did
not look great in 2024.
They just signed J.D. Davis. That's a good pickup.
No, it wasn't.
Absolute worst. They're probably going to trade at the deadline and flip for a prospect.
He stunk.
On the pitching side, Mason Miller has the ability to just become a lights-out closer.
Yes.
Joe Boyle. 4th place in this division.
To be fair, they won 69 games. Like, they did still stink, but they were a much better team than they've been. So I wasn't totally wrong.
I mean, it's got to be the Angels. This team also stinks, relatively speaking. Shout out Mike Trout. I think he's going to have a great bounce back season.
He did not.
Sounds kind of weird to say, but he's going to be healthy this year. I hope.
He's not.
And that's about it for this lineup. I mean, I like Drury. I like Taylor Ward, but that's about it. Logan O'Hoppe. Actually, I lied. I like Logan O'Hoppe a lot.
Good.
I do like Zach Neto. I just don't know how much they really help this lineup in total of like not being a 4th place team. On the pitching side, yeah, I just don't believe in the Angels pitching development. Reed Detmers could be good. Griffin Canning could be good. Sandoval could be good. Silseth could be decent, but I just don't know if the Angels can any more than they were not. Out of them. And that bullpen is a mess, especially with Robert Stevenson probably starting off the season hurt. Like, oh, Angels.
Did Robert Stevenson
Did
Robert Stevenson even pitch this year? I feel like he didn't.
Please request a trade. Going with this year.
All right,
Mariners.
3rd place Mariners.
I know I have them finishing in 3rd place, but
yeah, I mean, they weren't. Man, the Mariners are so disappointing. I'm going to probably talk about how they could be the best team in baseball, but they won't.
Kind of like what the Mariners are cooking with this year. I love the addition of Jorge Polanco to this lineup.
He was so bad.
Addition.
Oh, my God.
They're rocking with guys like Dominic Canzone and Josh Rojas a lot. But they're going to kind of play those spots platoony. Luke Raley was a great pickup.
Luke Raley was a great
on
pickup.
On top of Julio Rodriguez, J.P. Crawford, Mitch Garver was great. Cal Raleigh, big dumper, is awesome. But here's where they shine. It's on the pitching. Best rotation in baseball. Castillo, Gilbert, Kirby, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. Disgusting. I mean, you have 3 guys who can win the Cy Young in this rotation right now. And the bullpen is nasty with Andres Munoz, filthy. Ryan Stanek was a great pickup. These names might...
Ryan Stanek, New York Met. Mariners did not like Ryan Stanek, so I was wrong again. 2nd place, I'm going to go with the Rangers for sure.
Champions, Texas Rangers. They're going to start the year, I think, a little bit slow.
They're going to start the year a little bit slow is an understatement. The entire year was slow. They had the World Series hangover to the fullest, and also maybe they got a little lucky in 2023. They got hot at the right time. I don't know.
But of course, in 1st place,
Astros in 1st. Yep.
I'm still going with the Houston Astros.
I got one in the AL West.
Really
oh my God.
You still have that core of Altuve. You are
AL West, man. Like the Astros, I got right. That wasn't a hard pick. I got this all mixed up. Okay, awards. Rookie of the year.
I'm going to keep it in the AL West, and I'm going with Wyatt Langford. Have you seen what this dude's done?
He actually ended up having a pretty good season. Luis Heel, I think, is going to win it, or Austin Wells, which weren't necessarily the sharpest of picks, I think, at the time. Wyatt Langford felt like the overwhelming favorite. Took him a really long time to get going. Otherwise, he would have been a pretty good choice.
For the American League Cy Young, I'm going to go to the Central Minnesota Twins, Pablo Lopez, if you've heard me talk.
I thought I was going to pick Taylor Skubal for a second. Yeah, I loved Pablo Lopez. I thought this was going to be the huge year for him. Not necessarily was. And it kind of wasn't.
And winning the American League MVP, even though he's on a terrible team, I think it's going to be Mike Trout again.
Okay,
I think we see him bounce back to that 1,000 OPS player that he's
bad.
As
All
long
right.
as he's healthy.
I don't need to hear more about Mike Trout. Let's get to the playoff predictions here.
In the American League.
American League.
It's going to look.
Okay.
Astros, #1 seed. Orioles, #2.
Nope.
Twins, #3.
Nope.
The 3 wildcard teams are going to be the Rangers as the top seeded wildcard, the Mariners at #5, and then the Detroit Tigers.
I said the Yankees weren't going to make the playoffs. I said the Guardians weren't going to make the playoffs. I got 3 of the 6 teams correct. Oh my God. I'm washed. Oh my God, that's so bad. I had the Tigers. How is that even possible? I had the Tigers.
As for the wild card round in the American League, the Twins will match up against the Tigers.
Tigers.
Moving on.
No.
The Tigers had a great run, but I think the Twins end up.
God. Tigers did beat the Astros.
We've got the Rangers versus the Mariners, another divisional matchup, and I've got the Mariners moving on here again.
I think I had the Mariners win the World Series, didn't I? Yeah, we're going to just keep watching.
If DeGrom and Scherzer and all these guys are going to be healthy. That could change things. But the Mariners are also still really good, so I'm going to move the Mariners on. For the ALDS, we've got the Astros matching up against the Seattle Mariners and the Orioles going up against the Twins. I've got the Mariners moving on against the Astros.
Yeah,
and this pitching
I
is
have
so
the Mariners
good. I know
winning the World
Astros are great,
Series.
but I got a feeling about the Mariners this year. I really do. That this could be their year where they make a run and they make some moves at the deadline and get some good players. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, with this pitching in that bullpen, this is the best team in baseball maybe, besides the Dodgers.
Get on with it.
The Orioles and Twins, I've got the Orioles moving on. This team is great. Young talent.
So
Holloway's
bad.
gonna come up, fix that shortstop hole, and the pitching's really good with a good bullpen. Love this.
Wow.
As for the ALCS between the Orioles and the Mariners, call me crazy. I'm going with the Seattle Mariners here.
Crazy! You're crazy. They didn't make the playoffs, you idiot. Oh my God, I wish I could go back 6 months ago and give myself the Bart Simpson choke. I was an idiot.
The Mariners are making a World Series run. Let's go find out who they're going to face.
Give me the National League. Let's go.
Here's how it goes. Dodgers 1, Braves 2, Cubs 3 as the division winners. And then for the wild card, 4, the Diamondbacks as the top seed wild card. 5, the Philadelphia Phillies. And then 6, the San Diego Padres. Yes, I've got
Okay. I got 4 of 6 in the National League. It's better. I did not put the Mets in the playoffs, and they made it to the NLCS. Am I the jinx? Is this because of me? We'll find out next year.
Making the playoffs, I think they're a playoff team. And you might be saying, no Mets? If you force me to make a pick,
there you go.
I think the Mets are not.
I didn't think they were a playoff team.
But it's called growth. Can't call me biased this year. It's not why I did it. I just genuinely don't believe they're going to make the playoffs.
It's true, though. I didn't think they would.
As for the wild card matchup, first one, Cubs versus the Padres, 3 versus the 6. I've got the Padres moving on. I just think their pitching's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the NLDS.
Very good. For the second wild card series, you got the Diamondbacks versus the Phillies, a little bit of an NLCS rematch. And I've got the Diamondbacks moving on again. I think the Diamondbacks are a really good team, a sneaky good team this year.
Phillies did lose their only playoff matchup, though, to the New York Mets.
They could make another World Series run. Moving to the NLDS, we've got the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks in the first NLDS series, and unfortunately, the Diamondbacks run ends there.
At least I had the Dodgers moving on there.
The Dodgers team is just so disgusting. As long as they're healthy and there's no injuries, there's no problems. I don't know. How do they lose? They're moving on to the NLCS.
It's true. How do they lose?
The Padres in a 2 versus 6 matchup in the NLDS, and I've got the Braves moving on to the next round.
I mean, listen, the Braves had so many injuries this year. I don't actually think this was a bad prediction at all.
In the NLCS, the Dodgers versus the Braves. I think
wrong.
This is a 7-game series, but ultimately, I think the Braves end up taking this one. One thing that scares me about the Dodgers is I don't know if they're built for playoff baseball. They're going to be playing not that great of defense, and their pitching, I will say, as the season goes on later and later, these are guys with not a lot of great healthy innings underneath their belt right now.
Dodgers played great defense. Dodgers pitching was sketchy, but they got the job done, as we know. I mean, I am a jinx. It's crazy.
Now, that concerns me. If they made the World Series, I don't think it's crazy, but I think the Braves right now are more built to win the World Series than the Dodgers, if that makes sense.
That's such a crazy
at
take
this
by
exact
me.
moment. Sneaky good depth on the Braves. I'm going with the Braves to go to the World Series. So we've got the Braves versus the Mariners.
Braves-Mariners, and I think I picked the Mariners.
Who I think is going to win. I think this series is going to go 6 games, and ultimately, let me get a drum roll, please there, Jackson. Winning the 2024 Major League Baseball World Series in 6 games, I'm going with the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, I went with the Braves? Oh my goodness. I'm surprised I didn't spontaneously combust at the sight of that. I went with the Atlanta Braves as my World Series champion. Well, glad I was wrong. I mean, I wish it was the Mets. it was the Dodgers. They were the best team in baseball, at least. I'm so glad I jinxed the Braves. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. Maybe they're going to win the World Series again next year. That'd be awesome. Should have them win the World Series again next year. Yeah, my predictions were horrible. This was a bad year. To be fair, there's a lot of stuff going on during the offseason that maybe took my mind off of baseball a little bit more than I had hoped. If this is a lesson to anybody, watch my videos. They're at least entertaining. I've never been known to be right at my predictions. I usually pick the Mets to win the World Series. But what's fun about it is going back at the end of the year, seeing how I did, and this one was the worst one by far. If you made it this far in the video, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. Make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the content coming at you. Follow me on my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description. And that's where I'll wrap it up. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next video. Free agency starts. Let's get crazy. Bye.